We're continuing with our very packed episode of EP Live. Thank you all for watching. And I'm sorry I'm not able to have tons of interaction with everybody. I want to get to all of our cool guests today. And speaking of which, Bill Plympton is here. He is considered the king of indie animation. And
Thank you, Victor.
Wonderful to meet you, sir.
Very nice. Yeah, wonderful to be here.
I took a look at some of your work, and I think some of your work has infiltrated my life over the years, but I didn't know who made it. So
that's why you're so warped, huh?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. How did you get sort of caught up in this world of?
Well, very similar to Danny. At 5 or 6 years old, I was drawing a lot, and then I saw Goofy on TV, and I just fell in love with Goofy, and then Tex Avery and Bob Clampett and the Fleischer Brothers, and I said, I want to do that. I want to make people laugh. That's all I cared about, was making people laugh from my drawings.
Nice.
And I just thought animation was the perfect form for that.
Did you ever have a chance to meet with maybe some of the heroes or some of the artists that you looked up to at all?
Never. I was in Oregon, grew up in Oregon, and I never really had the guts to go down there to LA and meet all those people. In later years, of course, John Lasseter and people like that, I met them, but the Milt Call and people like that, never got to meet them.
Wow. Okay. Well, you just took it upon yourself in Oregon, which isn't really considered the hotbed of animation in the world. Where, in Portland or?
Portland, yeah. But now they got a bunch of animation studios, similar to Vancouver now, because Vancouver is really has a lot of industry here, and Portland is starting to do that. Henry Selick is making his new film there.
Cool.
And Guillermo del Toro is making his film there.
Love that guy.
So yes, it's happening.
That's awesome. So, but you really had an independent spirit. People talk about it.
Yep.
But you really had it, because there were no tools. There was probably nothing. What did you do?
Did you hear about me turning down Disney, $1 million from Disney?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I know. Who's crazy enough to do that? No, it was at a time when I was working on my own independent films, and I really fell in love with them, and I didn't want to get stuck with some Disney show. And I only found out later they wanted me for Aladdin, to do the crazy genie in Aladdin, which I would have done.
Oh, wow.
But I would have had to move away from New York and out to L.A. and shut down my studio, so I wanted to keep it.
So talk to me about being a kid fascinated with animation, and did you know what to go to the art store to buy? How did you start?
No, I didn't know the technique. In fact, when I got out of college or high school, there were no animation schools.
Right.
Nothing like what you have here in Vancouver now. So I was really gave up. Also, Disney had died, and the Disney studio was bankrupt, and Fleischer Brothers had stopped, Warner Brothers stopped, so I felt it was a dead-end job.
Wow.
So that's why I moved to New York and became an illustrator. So for 15 years, I did gag cartoons and political cartoons and illustrations.
Wow. And
then it wasn't until '87 when I did a little film called Your Face.
Yes.
And that film just blew everything up. It just sort of like Lupo the Butcher. It just changed everything.
How did people see Your Face? How did people even find out about it?
It was in the big festivals, Annecy, Cannes, all the big ones. Oscars, it got nominated for an Oscar.
Wow.
And that's when everybody discovered, hey, Bill Plympton,
That's fantastic. And did you do all of the work on the animation yourself?
I did all the animation. I had a musician who did the music, but just the two of us. It was a very low budget, probably the lowest budget film ever to get nominated for an Oscar.
Amazing. So you were doing onion skin and the whole thing and drawing
No onion skin, but just regular white paper.
And what would you shoot everything with?
Regular rostrum camera.
Wow.
The camera. I didn't shoot it. Someone else did.
Okay. That's cool. And so was the act of doing so much of that work on your own addictive?
Well, I love to draw anyway. I would draw from morning to night.
Yep.
So it just seems like animation fit right into that schedule.
Yes.
Because when I'm doing, I've done 8 animated feature films and about 100 animated shorts. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And now I'm married and have a kid, and I can't spend as much time as I used to, but I still put in about 8 hours a day drawing. And that's what I love.
You found what you love to do in this life, and you do it, man.
Right, that's right.
I'm all about that. I think that's amazing. And so through the act of these projects maybe that aren't like full-length features, they're not 90 minutes or something like that. You do have some longer ones, but you've done a lot of different sized projects, and you've also worked with lots of cool people too.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of music videos with Madonna and Weird Al Yankovic and Kanye West.
How does that happen?
And
How does Kanye West?
he calls me up at 1 in the morning. Hey, this is Bill Plympton. It's Kanye West. We need a music video. We need it in a week. No money.
Of course, yeah. There's no money in this, right?
But I knew who he was, and I said, yeah. So he came over to my studio for 2 days,
Yeah.
looked over my shoulder. Don't you think I'm more handsome than that? So I had to change his drawing. I had to
Are
make him
you
handsome.
kidding?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
that's Kanye West. But, he's a really smart guy, really
Yeah.
talented. So I said, yeah. And he did pay me at the end. He
Yeah.
paid me out of his pocket, which is
Okay.
really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And was Madonna somewhat similar to that?
Never met her.
Okay.
Never met her. She was in L.A., I was in New York. I was just one of the animators. I didn't direct it, but
Okay.
I did a lot of the animation.
You have seen all kinds of permutations of the animation industry. How do you feel about this this current sort of modern computer heavy animation space that we're in?
Right. Well, as opposed to Danny.
Yep. Who held nothing back.
Yeah.
We love that though. That's awesome, Danny.
I think that this is the best time to want to be in animation.
Okay.
There are so many opportunities. Advertising, internet, feature films, shorts, just everybody, games. Everybody wants animation now. So if I was a student in school, man, I would be so happy. When I came out of school, there was nothing.
Right.
Nada.
Right.
And so I'm really jealous of the kids coming out. In terms of digital animation, I think what Pixar does and Disney does and Blue Sky, they do brilliant stuff, and I love their films.
Yeah. Sony.
But it's not for me.
Yeah.
Sony. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me. People try to get me
Not
to do.
for you to do, but you're a
Yeah.
fan of it. You
Yeah.
appreciate the
I
artistry
like,
of it.
I like the story writing.
Yeah.
The characters are really good.
It does feel, to Danny's point though, it does feel like a lot of computer-generated work has moved closer and closer to trying to feel
You're right.
like it's made from the heart and hand-drawn, right? That seems to be the holy grail of computer-animated work.
Yeah, but for me, I don't have the money to compete with these guys.
Yeah.
I don't have the talent. I mean, in terms of a studio,
Yes.
to compete with those guys. And it's just more pleasurable for me to make my own little films
Yeah.
the way I want to make them. And in fact, I brought some samples.
Yes, please show.
These are drawings that I did for the Simpsons. Did you want to?
Are you picking those up, Blake? Is that good right there? Super cool.
And you can see they're hand drawn. They're color pencil.
And these were actually in the Simpsons show.
Yeah, they were in the
So
what's
the-
called the couch gag.
So these illustrations here were in the show.
Those are
Amazing.
the original drawings from the animation.
That's incredible.
And
So
and
nice of you to give these to me, Bill. These are amazing.
But
man.
The Simpsons is still doing hand drawn.
Yes.
So it's not everything. Not everything is digital.
Yeah.
So there are still people doing this
And
kind of stuff.
Matt Groening is a massive fan of yours.
Well, I'm a massive fan of his. I knew him when he was like 16.
Wow.
His dad, Homer Groening,
Yeah.
was a wonderful filmmaker. Very funny filmmaker. He did Industrials. I don't know
Yes.
if you remember Industrials.
Yes.
And so he invited me up to his house to see more of his films, and there was Matt. And so Matt and I have been friends for a long time, and he's the one that invited me to do stuff for The Simpsons. I said, yeah, that's for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's coming up next for you? You're always working on something. What's going
I'm
on?
so glad you asked.
Yeah.
I'm working on a feature film with Whoopi Goldberg.
Wow.
She's also a fan.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
And she said, would you do an animated version of my life?
Crazy.
I said, I know, that's what I said.
That's fantastic.
So, and she has some many funny stories.
I bet she does.
Really crazy stories.
She was on Star Trek.
No.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg was on Star Trek? Yeah. How long? For like the whole run? She was a regular on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I honestly,
news. No,
Whoopi
no, I-
Goldberg is one of the most interesting stories in
Yeah.
entertainment. Absolutely. Yeah. So now you got to draw Star Trek. Sorry about that.
No, I would love to draw Star Trek. Are you kidding? No, that'd be great. That's a great story. I'll ask her about that. See if she wants it in the movie.
Yeah. That's amazing. Bill,
Yeah.
fantastic to meet
Yes,
you.
yes, thank you.
And you can catch up with Bill at the Spark Animation Festival that's happening this weekend in Vancouver.
I live in New York now, but I love visiting Vancouver. I'm really having such a beautiful day, such a great town.
Yeah, it's very nice. And welcome back to the Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
I know
thank
that
you.
this is where
Yeah,
you're from originally.
my home, yeah.
Which is great.